Hello everyone, welcome to this sped up version of a whole drawing that I'm doing. As you can see in parts of this video, I will use my phone to take some short videos for TikTok, so just ignore that as best as you can. But hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Andy. I make art. This is only one of my first videos that I make on here, but I have been on Instagram for a while and I've been on TikTok for a few months. So yeah, I wanted to make a video that was just like a simple all the way through time lapse of me sketching something. I guess it's not a sketch, it's a drawing, in my cross-hatching type of style with a big pen. Those are literally my favorite to use. So yeah, here is, as you can see, I'm drawing Louis Tomlinson from his photo shoot, from the pictures that were leaked like last month and everyone on Tumblr went crazy. Anyway, there's me with the phone again. I wanted to really quickly say that that clear like matte on my desk looks so dirty, but I promise it's not like filth. It's all like charcoal and like paint stains that have accumulated throughout the years. I'm sorry, it looks so gross. I think next time I will just not use that. I have that on my desk because my desk is like wood, so I'm like so scared of ruining it, but next time I'll take it off for a video. And I also wanted to say that before I filmed this the other day, I was eating Takis. So if you see red stuff at the tip of my thumb, that is what that is. Anyway, to get into the video, yeah, I mean, I kind of just wanted to talk over this. Like, I want to talk about the video, but also just like about anything, you know? So as you can see, I actually usually start with the eye, like that eye on the left, but for some reason in this one, I decided to start with the nose. I think I just really like his nose, and I love drawing noses, so I was like, you know what, let's start with the nose. But I do go to the eye really quickly, because, I don't know, my brain just like cannot function if I haven't done the eye first, and I know that's like a lot of artists thing, like a lot of people can relate to that. So yeah, but as you will be able to see, I kind of, like, I do go in parts of the drawing, like parts of the face, but I don't finish one part and then move to the next, because my brain also just does not work that way. Like, I do one part till it looks kind of decent, but I move on because I just get too impatient, and then I come back, and then I just kind of try to fix things as I go. A lot of people comment on like my TikToks or anything where I show what I've done with pen, and people think that I am patient. That's a word that comes up a lot. A lot of people are like, I just don't have the patience like you do, and I cannot stress enough how impatient of a person I am. I do not consider myself, and have not ever considered myself a patient person, especially when it comes to art, or not especially when it comes to art, just like in general. I literally always strive to do things as quickly as possible. This drawing here, although this video is around 20 minutes long, of course it's sped up, but I only sped it up like 3 times, so it took me like an hour to make, which I will admit it is faster than my usual pen cross-hatching portraits. Those usually do take me like at least 2 hours, but for this one I put the camera on, and for some reason that made me like nervous, or not nervous per se, but it made me just be more aware of my movements, and it made me be not distracted at all by like my phone, because I knew I was being watched, and I knew I wanted to make this like a full time lapse without cutting in between, except for the times when like my SD card got full and I had to delete some stuff and come back. So there will be a couple, or like 3 or 4 cuts, but hopefully they're not that distracting. But yeah, for the most part I wanted to just kind of go straight through as I'm drawing, and so I did not want to get distracted with anything, so I feel like that helped me go so much faster, and that's why it took only an hour. It's also not my favorite pen drawing that I've done. Just, you know, it's not. I think when I first started it, I was like, this is going quite well, and when I got to this eye that I'm doing right now, as you see, I quite hated that. It took me a while to fix it. You'll see how I spend so much time here compared to the other parts of the face because it just looked lopsided. I didn't know how to fix it. This happens a lot. And again, I feel like a lot of artists can relate to when you do one eye and you're like, hell yeah. Then you get to the other eye and it just does not look like they go together. It doesn't look like they know each other. The second eye is like, sorry to this man about the first eye, and the first eye is like, sorry to this man about this second eye. And yeah, I remember years ago when I started kind of getting more serious about art, there were some people that would be like, eyebrows are not sisters, they're cousins, you know, to make people feel better about when they're drawing eyebrows or doing their own eyebrows, how like they don't have to look the same. I totally agree. But I feel like with eyes it's a little different because if they look too different from each other, it's not gonna look okay. Unless the person you're drawing does look like that, in which case totally fine. But I feel like Louis has quite asymmetric face. Like a symmetric face, not an asymmetric face. Anyway, so yeah. The way I like to do cross-hatching is, I don't know, when I try to make tutorials on TikTok for this, they always end up just me being like, draw some lines, and people laugh about that in my comments, which as they should, because I really don't know how to explain it, because I feel like there's not much to explain besides my biggest tip literally being do the lightest lines you're possibly able to do. I don't know if you can tell here, I mean you can't, but in some of the areas, especially like the bigger areas that are just like skin or whatever, you have to hold the pen super lightly, or like hold the pen hard but press onto the paper super lightly. I just cannot stress that enough because obviously you can't erase pen, so once you put those lines down, there's no going back. I do have an eraser there, as you see that black one in there on the left, but that's just to erase the pencil because this pen is kind of a light color, so I like sometimes erasing the pencil before I go on there because I don't want it to be seen. When I use like black pen or like a darker blue, I don't really care about the pencil because you can't really see it, but anyway. So yeah, light lines. Of course I do super dark lines sometimes. Whoa, the lighting is going crazy. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, in the darkest areas, I press super hard, sometimes close to the point of like breaking the paper. So don't do that. But yeah, in the large areas that need to be light, I don't really like leaving them white unless I'm going for that style of like minimalism. So yeah, if there's an area that is kind of white because you're like drawing a white person, but it's not completely white, so you have to shade it, that's just when you gotta be the most concentrated ever, and do like the lightest lines, because then you can just build on it. You can't go back, but you can build on them. And I feel like I sound like such a high school art teacher because that's what my high school art teacher would always say, like don't do too much first, just go back later. And it's so true, but I never, again, I'm such an impatient person that I've always kind of just wanted to do everything right away. Sorry, you probably couldn't tell, but I had to cut that audio. Anyway, I'm back. I was interrupted by my brother, but what I was trying to say is that I'm such an impatient person that I'm very glad that I've taken up pen recently more than usual, because I've liked using pen for like years now, but I feel like it's more recently that I've actually been like practicing more realistic style of pen, because I feel like I used to, if you scroll back on my Instagram, I used to use more of like a sketchier style for pen that I still like, but I haven't done in a while. And for those, I would use like a Muji like .38 pen or Pilot Juice pen. But for these, Bic pens are the best. I cannot recommend them enough. I'm not sponsored in any way by Bic. I really wish. A couple months ago, a lovely follower on my Instagram whose mom works at Bic sent me a huge box of Bic products, so that was amazing. But I am not sponsored by Bic. Just thought I would say that. I'm such a small YouTube channel that that's not even possible, but anyway, I just love big pens so much, and I think what's so great about them, even though as an impatient person it can be kind of frustrating to have to take your time, it's still so great. And I think I've been thinking about why they're good for realism, and I think it's just because, you know how if you press really lightly with them, they just will not write? That's what's good about them, because with like gel pens, what happens with them is that no matter how hard you press, it's going to be the same amount of ink that comes out, which is great for some styles, and for obviously for writing, super good. That's why Muji is like amazing. But for drawing in realism, it's good to be able to have that option. If you don't want some parts to be dark, you just press really lightly and it'll barely show up. Of course, there's always the unpredictable stain that it leaves, like when it bleeds too much or whatever that's called. But you just can't predict that. I mean, maybe there are ways that I'm just unaware of. But for me, it luckily doesn't happen that much actually. When I'm doing like a super light area, I've been lucky that I don't get those horrible bleeds. But if I do, I kind of try to just work with it. I used to be such a restarter of drawings. Like, what do they call it? Like restarter syndrome? I don't know. I used to, like, if a little thing goes wrong, like I'm restarting the whole thing. I was like that in high school, but like I just simply do not have the time anymore, you know? So yeah, as you can see in this part, I was trying to do really, 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 really light lines. I don't know if you can tell, but I barely move my wrist. I feel like I move my arm more, if that makes any sense. Or is it? I don't know, but there's something that I do where when I'm trying to do the light lines, where I like kind of keep my wrists like still sometimes. Yeah, this isn't a really good example, but sometimes I just like move my arm, and that makes me, if you ever want to do straight lines, it's so much easier if you don't move your wrist, you just move your arm. Again, I don't know why I'm talking about that right now, because now I'm doing the hair and that is not straight lines. Anyway, God, this hair in this drawing took me so long. Like, I literally spent the rest of the video on the hair, basically. It's not always like that, but with big pens, I would say that's kind of the hardest part, definitely. The face is so, like, nice for me to do with big pens, but the hair is a nightmare. Hair in general, I feel like for artists, there's a type of artist that like loves doing hair, and then the type that hates doing hair. I feel like there's no in between. And I'm definitely in the hates doing hair category. I'm getting like better at it, I will say. Back in like 2015, if you followed me on my art Instagram back then, you know that I never did hair. Like, I would do the face as realistic as I could back then, which wasn't very good, but whatever. I was 15. And then I would leave the hair just like blank. I would do like the outlines, and then I would be like, this is like my style, you know? Like, I mean, it was, but like I would kind of play it off as like, this is my stylistic choice. Like, I don't want to do the hair. Well, in reality, I was just scared of doing the hair, which now I'm not. Like, now I just go for it, and I think that's the best attitude and the best tip I can give for hair. Literally, just go for it. I cannot really give specific advice for hair when it comes to pen. When it comes to charcoal and stuff, I there's more I can say about it, but again, with pen, I just, like, I don't know, you just, as you see in this video, I literally just like go for it. Like, I just add on to it more and more and more. At one point, I think I did make a hole in the paper, but let's not talk about that. Yeah, just scribble. It's so funny seeing it like fast. Wow. Oh yeah, and then I realized I had forgotten to do that back part of his hair when I was doing the outline of the drawing. So then I just kind of had to improvise. I love this photo shoot. I just, now that I'm looking at the face, I really did make him look like a puppet. Like, don't you think something about the corner of the mouth, how I kind of over accentuated it? See, this is what I hate about looking at a drawing for too long and looking at it later the way I am, because I drew this like days ago, but I hadn't edited it. Not that there's much to edit, I literally just sped it up and now I'm doing this voiceover, but yeah, I don't know, looking at it too much, I start to like hate the face. Because he looks like a puppet, like it looks like there should be someone above him with a hand and strings controlling him and like making him smile. But anyway, I love the photo shoot that he did. I don't even know when it happened exactly, but I know it's like old-ish, not like old, but like all I know is that these pictures are new because they got leaked, and they were kind of like illegal. I remember people were posting them and they're like, don't tell anyone, whatever, but we still all saved them. What else should I talk about, man? I thought I would have more to explain about the actual process of me using pen. It turns out, I feel like you can just see what's happening, you know what I mean? Oh my god, it looks so weird how my wrist like barely moves, but it moves in like tiny little like... That's so weird to see sped up, it's so funny. I also love that you can see that in the corner, the purple like thank you note that I include in my Etsy orders. But yeah, oh, by the way, I have an Etsy. If you want to check it out, there is a link in the description box. Ta-da! You can also check out the rest of my social media on there, because I always put it on there, and I think you should check it out if you like this video. But you are not obliged to do anything in life that you don't want to do, which includes subscribing to my channel if you want to see more and hopefully better videos in the future than this. But yeah, you are not required to do so, but if you wish, it's right there. I'm currently really busy and like stressed because I started my second internship for the summer the other day. Yes, I'm doing 2 internships at the same time. They're both remote, but I'm stressed about that. But I'm mainly stressed because I'm trying to do the Nile Heartbreak Weather contest, and it's just a wild ride, bro. I cannot stress enough how stressed I am about it. I don't know why, something about art contests just like, I don't know, makes me the most nervous person in the world. Because I feel like I've entered so many contests in my life and I've just never won. You know what, like, I'm just not the person that wins ever. And for a reason, you know, I never have, obviously I never have the best entries, especially when it comes to digital art, because I'm still so new at it that, like, I don't know, it always makes me so nervous, and it makes me be like, there's so many like better people out there that are just more professional, which is true. There's like professional, like in this case, like poster designers that are probably entering this too, and it's like hard to tell, you know, who's like a huge Nile fan and who isn't. I have loved this man I love how I'm talking about Nile now and not about Louis, but I have loved Nile for 8 years, over 8 years. Like, as soon as they announced this contest, I was like, oh my god, this is my chance, because I don't draw him that often. I've drawn him a few times in my life, but obviously nowhere near as much as like Harry. So I was like, this is my chance. But then I started like overthinking it, as I do with everything, and it's like, it's a digital contest, so I'm not gonna do well in it. But I've been working on that. So basically, that's just a long story for saying I've been working on that contest, which is why I'm not putting out a lot of content right now on like TikTok, Instagram, here. But I'm doing this video right now so that I can just like put it out, and then, like I said, hopefully do better content in the coming weeks, days, months, whatever. Who knows what's happening with quarantine. I don't even know where I'm gonna be in the fall because my college is being weird about accommodations. But as long as I am able to do YouTube videos, I will be here, and I still have so many ideas that I want to do, and this one I just decided to do right now because it seemed like the easiest, because all I had to do was put my camera up there, film while I did a video. You know, it forced me to do the drawing really quickly, and then now I'm just doing the voiceover. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm doing the final touches to the hair. I remember I was still very much not happy with it yet, but yeah, that's it. I just kept adding. I feel like, yeah, you never know when you're done, especially with this, because I really didn't like how I did the hair. But there just comes a point, especially with pen, where you literally just can't add more because it gets like oversaturated with the ink, and you literally just physically can't add more, or you'll break the paper, or it'll look stained. So yeah, that's why I moved on to the sweater. I love that turtleneck. It's just wonderful. He should wear turtlenecks more often, I think. And I think everyone should agree with that take. But yeah. Oh, then I started adding stuff to the chin, because he has facial hair in the picture. I hate drawing facial hair. I don't hate it. There's other things I hate more. But it's just kind of annoying sometimes. So most times I end up adding less facial hair than they actually have. But yeah. Then I did some lines. I wanted to keep the shading of the sweater quite simple. I like doing that most of the time with portraits, so that the emphasis is in the face, you know, like the head, rather than the clothes. Sometimes I do decide to kind of like fully render the clothes. Sometimes I really like doing like a stylistic, just like outlines of it, like not doing it at all. But other times I do a little bit, like I did here. I don't know, it just depends on my mood, you know. Yeah. Sometimes clothes can be so fun to shade, like so fun. I love wrinkles if I'm in the mood for them. If I'm not in the mood for drawing wrinkles, they can be a pain in the butt. But, haha, they can be a pain in the butt, but that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope you follow me on my social media to see more art content. Literally every day almost. No promises though. I try. Yeah, like I said, hopefully better videos coming soon, and I hope it probably wasn't very helpful, but maybe it was motivating in some way to watch someone do a pen for a long time. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.